Welcome everyone to the next episode of Meeting Halfway, the America tour.
The all-American road trip.
Yeah, last week was Sammy. This week we have another very special guest. Is the creator of Baldi's Basics.
That's me.
They did the voice. It's Mistman.
Also known as a Micah McConaughey.
Yeah, sorry.
It's like Micah.
You ever have those people on Twitter whose like memes are just like a bunch of like letters? That was you for the longest time, where it's like I don't know what the word there
really?
is. Where it's like it would just take like 10 seconds of like properly like paying attention to know what it is, but I was like, oh whatever, like it's like MY something.
Yeah, that username came from when I was a kid, and I was like really, and I still am, but like really obsessed with the Myst series of games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I gotta come up with a cool username. Like, oh, I don't know, Myst Man 12. Yeah.
Because I'm 12.
And I just stuck.
I did that on like stuff like Bin Weebles or like Club Penguin. I think I called myself like Mario 8970 or something like this.
Mine's lame. Mine was Cool Tito.
Not just because of your dog, though.
My dog, Tito, yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. It was One Hot Tito. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Even lamer.
That's cool.
Okay, let me ask you this. Biggest inspiration for Baldi's Basics? I know that was a lot of people asking us on Twitter.
That's a tough one because there's like the original game. I guess the biggest inspiration for like the original game was just kind of like Sonic Schoolhouse. You know, obviously there's like hints of like Five Nights at Freddy's and like Slender in there, but Sonic Schoolhouse was the game that made me go like, wow, this like educational game's like really creepy. Like that could be like a really cool idea.
It really scared me as a kid. That was my first thought seeing Baldi's Basics. What was the Sonic Schoolhouse comparisons? That game is like unintentionally really creepy with like the little monkey like animations and stuff, or like their faces like Popeye.
Is that
like
when they're,
the
like-
multiple Sonics everywhere.
Yeah.
Like 4 animals, right?
There's like one more.
Is that
There's
what
like 8.
You're showing me, right?
And they all have terrifying animations.
Yeah.
And you click on them.
Like you click on the pig and his face is like inflates and his eyes like
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
It really is like a genius idea for like a horror games. Yeah, you made it as part of a game jam.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
In 2 weeks, right?
I had this idea like back in like 2015 and it just kind of brewed in my head for a long time. And then one day I see the meta game jam like coming soon or whatever. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Like I've never done a game jam before. You know, this could be a good opportunity to just kind of learn how to make a game in Unity, you know, just push myself. So I did it. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll do this Baldi's Basics idea I had. You know, see what people think about that. You know, see if that's.
And look where we are.
Yeah, like
There's
really.
Plushy. You can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it.
Guys, there's a big giant
there
Baldi
he
plush
is.
right here.
I like pet.
Can we sit him like here?
Oh, yeah.
For the whole time.
Yeah. Everyone can see him.
There we go.
You're saying that they made that as like just a like little gift for you. You said.
Oh yeah, the toy company, they sent me like a couple of these. You know, they weren't meant to be mass produced, but they had them and they sent them to me. So that was really cool.
I remember, back when the game like really blew up. What year was it again? Like
2018.
2018.
Like summer 2018.
Yeah, I remember I went into like a game store around Ireland, and game stores in Ireland are really like and like niche, and like I saw like Baldi Basic like action figures. And I was like, what the like this is in stores now? What the hell? How quickly like since from the game like blowing up in popularity did you sort of get those merch offers?
Yeah, it was about that summer. Around the time I was doing the Kickstarter, I started getting approached by like a couple different companies. I ended up just sticking with one, but yeah, we worked together and made some toys. Some were pretty good, some weren't so good, but it was an interesting experience for sure.
Was it pretty odd, like, going into Walmart?
Oh, yeah.
And seeing,
I've got a picture of me and some friends going into Walmart. It's like, there he is. There's Baldi's Basics next to Kingdom Hearts. Like, what is happening? This
That's
dumb
the ultimate
character.
crossover.
Yeah.
Baldi's Basic Kingdom Hearts. That'd be
The
awesome.
Baldi's Basics universe.
You should, like, if you ever have the time, make like a funny, like, what story would look like in Baldi's Basics.
That probably already exists.
Probably.
Someone's fans already drawn.
So, like, obviously Baldi's Basics got huge, like, huge. Was that, I'm sure that was a shock for you, but I mean, like, was it scary? Like,
Not really. I've always been like a pretty chill person. So like, you know, I made the game within the first week. Vinny Vinesauce played it.
Yeah.
And he just stumbled upon it. So like one day I got this comment or something, and someone said like, "Hey, I saw a streamer playing your game," and I checked it out. I was like, "Whoa, who's played it?" I was like, "Vinny played it!" Like, oh my gosh! And then over the next like month, I started noticing the downloads increasing. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Why are the downloads? Apparently, there were some like Korean YouTubers playing it a lot.
Oh.
And then eventually Markiplier played it, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, Markiplier's not a game. That's
how I
pretty cool.
find it, yeah.
I found
Wow.
it through Chris Oni. He showed me. And I just remember being like, this is a real game.
Yeah.
And then I completely forgot about it. And Mark showed it to me again, it was like months ago. We first moved into our place.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this does look really
Like,
familiar.
I was talking to you about Sonic Skullhush.
Yes.
And I was like, it's what the Baldi game is like. Take this version from.
And I never played it, but I always like watched other people
Right.
play it, and like I always like saw the imagery everywhere. So when you actually showed me, I think we watched like a playthrough of it. I was like, this is actually terrifying. Like this
that's
is
good.
actually terrifying.
Good job.
Like turning around and like coming at you. I was like, oh my god, dude.
I didn't know about the Kickstarter though. What was that for?
Yeah, so when the game was, at its peak popularity, I was like, because the game I made for the Game Jam was just like a tiny slice of what I had in my head. So I
Yeah.
was like, if I want to make the full version that I've always really wanted to make, like I should probably capitalize on it, when it's still popular.
Yeah.
And so I did a Kickstarter to fund a full version, and that was successful. And I've been working on that ever since.
Wow.
I'm sure have you heard of like Baldi's Basics Plus?
Plus,
yeah.
Which is currently in early access. That's the full version. Should I have done a Kickstarter at 20 years old with no game dev experience? I don't know, but I am.
I feel like you proved yourself.
Yeah, you
like
definitely
initially.
proved yourself.
I definitely feel like I know more what I'm doing than I did when I first started.
Yeah.
It's definitely become one of those Kickstarters where it's like, oh, you back it, and it's 5 years later, it's still not finished, but I'm gonna finish it because I really want to.
It's
finish
not
it.
like Yogg's Cast Adventures where like they just take the money and run. You're still
Right.
like actively work. It's not being delayed because of any like issues. It's because you just want to make sure it's like
Right.
the
That
best it
and
can
just
be.
me like having to kind of work on myself, figure out how to work consistently.
Yeah.
Being self-employed can be pretty hard.
Oh, we
sometimes.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very hard setting like a routine, and
Right.
sticking by a routine because you
Yeah.
are your only boss.
Now I'm in that routine and I'm like working on the game, like 8 hours every day and getting stuff done. And my plan is to soon here start releasing like major updates every couple of months.
Nice.
So I should be on track to finish it. Hopefully within the next couple of years. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I can't make any
Game
promises.
development's
but
hard.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
It always takes longer than you think.
I was like look at Friday Night Funkin'. They they reached their Kickstarter goal like what, last year, 2 years
I think it's
ago?
like 2 years ago at this
2
point.
years ago, but they're still working and they're working
I think
hard.
it's almost 3 years ago. That was when you first came to Ireland when that got.
So I didn't go to Ireland 3 years ago. I went to Ireland like 2 years ago. Yeah.
I know we met 3 years. Yeah. Okay. You're right. You're right. 2 years ago.
So it's it takes a long time. It's hard to do, especially if you're doing it yourself.
It's so easy to just sit back and be like, okay, I can probably do this in like a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks pass, and you're like only like halfway done.
Yeah.
It's taking longer than I thought.
That's kind of like the same mentality as like working in a pilot or like working on a cartoon. Like,
Well, I have like the opposite thing where than like what I feel like some people have where it is like learning yourself. So like, okay, I'll work 8 hours a day and I'll like do this consistently. I work like I just keep working like until like it's nighttime. I
Okay,
just don't like stop. Like Veronica has to like pull me
that's
out.
the opposite problem for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the opposite too. And I work on my iPad, so I'll just sit in the living room and then I sit for like 4 hours and I draw and I'm like, I'm gonna walk around now.
And that's the end of the
It's so weird
That's
because I'm
not
like,
the end of the day.
I was like, oh, I can't wait. This game is gonna be so good when I finish it. Like, I want to work on this really, and then like without, but if I'm not pushing myself the right ways, then like it doesn't get done. It doesn't.
Yeah, you need to find like
Yeah.
ways to motivate yourself beyond just
I literally created a contract that I sign that affects like how much I pay myself each week if I
Wow.
like.
That is
if I
so
don't do the
smart.
things I'm
That is
supposed
smart.
to do, and that's one of the things that has really
giving
helped me.
yourself like
yeah.
like an omnipotent like boss above
It's
yourself.
like literally if I get too many strikes, then I dock my pay. I'm like, I don't want that, so I get down to work.
That is a very smart thing to do.
That is smart.
That
It's
is.
crazy, but it's what works for me. So
Yeah.
I know, like, some people, it's like the Nathan Fielder idea where it's like if they don't reach their goal in a certain amount of time, they humiliate themselves.
No,
sending a
no.
photo
Is that
to
a real
someone.
thing?
Some people have done that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
that's like deadlines is a thing I still really need to work on because like I still don't know like what is a reasonable deadline for me or not. So I
Yeah.
haven't like ever been like if I don't get this done by this date, then I'm gonna blah. Like I don't think that worked very well for me. But
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's best to just not even give yourself like or like give yourself a deadline, but don't like tell anyone what that deadline
Yeah,
is.
that's one thing I've learned even way back when I first got into programming. It was this little DSiWare application called Petit Computer, And I remember everyone in that community would be like, yeah, I'm going to make this game. It's going to have like 100 characters and like 1,000 levels, and it's going to be released next month. And it's like, I learned very early not to announce release dates for things until you're absolutely sure.
Yeah.
That's what I did with the remaster.
Yeah.
People were like, where's the remaster? Where's the remaster? And I was like, I'm just sitting back waiting. And when the day came, I released an announced release date trailer. And it was like, this is the release date. And I released it on that date. I didn't even have to crunch too much.
Yeah.
Oh, that
was really good.
You know what?
I've struggled with crunch a lot for like release dates and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that dopamine from like saying that they're
yes,
going to be
that's
doing
one thing I've
something.
heard like a long time ago.
Yeah, and then because they already feel that like serotonin or whatever, like they end up
it
not
was
even
motivation.
doing it. Yes.
Yeah, it's better to undersell yourself in that kind of situation, I think, because I see a lot of cartoon stuff or like animation stuff on like Twitter. People making their own like
So many indie
cartoons,
artists.
and it's always like, this is my new cartoon. It's gonna be 22 minutes long. It's gonna be me and like my two friends, and it's gonna be out by the end of the year. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And they're like,
A
okay,
22-minute cartoon.
good
No.
buddy. Yeah. So
For people who like say I want to make like 6 episodes of this cartoon series and I need like $100,000 in order to do this, and I can have this done in like 4 months.
Yeah.
And I'll hire 50 people on. It's like, it's not happening. It's unrealistic.
Butch Hartman.
Yeah.
No access.
True.
yeah, no, he's definitely the worst case of that. 'Cause he basically stole like $350,000 of
I
people's money.
always find that Kickstarter so weird because it was like the same time I did my Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
So I'm kind of like, maybe it may have taken me 5 years and I'm still not finished, but at least it's an auto access.
Yeah, he's still doing it. Yeah.
True.
When we were talking to him, it really just seemed like
There was nothing in
we were in his
plan.
we were in his office, and he had like one single like poster for it, like off to the side, and it's clear that's just like not even like on his mind anymore.
No, he had a whole room dedicated to it.
to OX.
Yes.
Did I missed that?
Dude, it was a whole podcast room with all access
the podcast
everywhere
room,
on
yeah.
it. And like he had like a huge ass poster of it in his warehouse too.
Yeah.
'Cause he gave us like a tour of his office. He had all these like big things planned for it, but never had anything big planned for it. You know?
Yeah,
I hope he eventually pulls through. I mean, I
hope so.
Pretty cool.
The garden's out.
I was gonna say, it really seems like his folks went to his like Christian book series, The Garden, which put the poster
picture
right
here.
here, like in this little corner right here.
Yeah, right in
and
front
it's
of
like,
little Baldi.
that is, if you find that in a bookstore, this is what the cover actually looks like. That is not like a fan drawing. That is not like
That's
like a
Butch
rough drawing.
Hartman's
That is
art.
what he drew for books.
It's his iPad art.
I gotta show you. It's really like it
is-
does not look like
It's
professional.
kind of like a fall from grace from his original work. But love
thanks
you,
for letting
Butch.
us interview
I love you, Butch.
Please respond to our
Constructive
emails.
criticism is a good thing.
Please
Yeah.
be our pastor at our wedding. Smiles.
I'm glad you invited us out to come see you. It's a great home.
Oh,
No,
That's
thank you.
lovely.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys came. I saw your tweet, like, hey, any mutuals, like, in the States want to meet up? I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I was like, wait, like, Mark follows me? Like, well, okay, I guess I'm a mutual. I'll ask.
Yeah, I feel bad for because there was like so many people who reached out from that, but we couldn't do everyone. We're in like such a we were planning out this whole road trip around America, and then we were like, okay, we probably get back in time for like May 14th if all goes well, and then I realized that a couple months ago I said to my family, and they booked tickets from Ireland to come here on May 14th. So I'm like, wow, we need to like no detours, no stops. We need to
we
like
gotta
get
go.
we need to get from Florida to California in like 4 days.
Less than 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's going to be tough.
That'll be good.
So
Couple
guys,
all-nighters.
We
That'd be fun.
we had like chopped on our guest list a lot, but
But we're really glad that
look
you
where
gave
we
us
are,
some time.
Yeah, we're really glad that y'all came here.
you know,
So okay, I wanna ask. In your new version of the game, or like Baldi's Plus,
Yes, the full
version,
yeah.
the full version. Was there anything that you had been able to add into it that you always had ideas for that maybe wasn't specific to Baldi, but like you know what I mean? Things that you got to implement into the game that you've always wanted to.
I think the main thing is the like procedurally generated levels.
Oh, really?
Like
That's
that's
cool.
something that's always really interested in me. Like you asked earlier, what is my biggest inspiration for Baldi's Basics? And I said Sonic Schoolhouse for Classic, but for Plus it'd be like part that, part like Spelunky.
Okay.
You can type Spelunky.
Yeah.
No.
Play Spelunky.
It's a 2D roguelite game, and it's like basically you're descending into these mines.
yeah.
But every level is procedurally generated.
That's
And
cool.
that's a game that I always like really like. So being able to put that into Baldi's Basics was really cool because it just adds a lot of replayability.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time, it's different.
Kind of like Noida.
Oh, my cousin's been playing that and he's like obsessed with
I
it.
love Noida so much, dude.
The only one I think I've played
trying-
like that is Rogue's Legacy. If you remember
That's
that
a classic.
game. No, I love that game. Me and Tom would play that all the time. Like at his house, yeah.
Is that procedurally generated as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, you're like a knight going through like a different like dungeon each time.
that's
There's like
cool.
bosses and stuff like that, and you get gold, and if you die, you like lose all your gold or whatever. So it's like and you're constantly like, upgrading yourself.
That is
to the next
okay. Yeah,
level.
it's like Noida. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game.
Dude. Oh, man.
So yeah, that's the kind of thing Baldi's Basics Plus is going for. It's like a horror, kind of stealth, kind of roguelite game, with permadeath where you get sent back to the beginning every time. And
Have you seen anyone ever speedrun?
oh yeah,
game? Like-
I don't know why people put themselves through that. But the original game is just so RNG heavy. It's like, why are you doing this? But it's cool to see.
for the challenge,
Yeah.
Are you impressed by any of these people who find, like, has anyone ever found, like, any, like, cracks or glitches?
Oh
Really?
yeah, it's really funny. There was this one time, Ethan's my brother's named Ethan, and he sent me a link to his streamer. He's like, "Hey, this streamer's speedrunning a game." I was like, "Oh, cool." So I hop on the stream. Like a few minutes after I joined the stream, the streamer just does this thing where they're standing next to an item, they're quickly turning, and they click to try and click the item, but they don't pick up that item. They pick up an item that's on the other side of the room.
Oh wow.
And everyone was, including me, was like, wait, what? It's like, I literally witnessed this glitch for the first time. It turned out the way it programmed the game, if you're standing next to any item, you can look at any other item and click to pick up the item you're looking at.
Whoa.
And it was like, wow, like, that's really cool. Also, like, I really have a lot to learn about programming because that should not be happening.
Do you think you would ever have, like, any of those speedrunners, like, kind of, like, beta test?
Maybe. My cousin, he's kind of like my unofficial beta tester. He has like hundreds of hours in Baldi's Basics Plus. He just
wow.
enjoys playing it.
I feel like though keeping that sort of stuff in. I remember when they were doing the SpongeBob Bikini Bottom remake on the newer systems. They did that thing where they had speedrunners come in and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna keep in some of these glitches just because that's what
I hadn't
people
heard that. That's
like
really cool.
about them." Yeah,
That was really smart.
so I think that's pretty cool. Did you find it hard to kind of like, because obviously you said you've been working on this like Baldi's Plus for
Right.
this many years. Did you find it hard to kind of like, or worry at least that people will like lose interest the longer wait there is, or like expectations will
I'm
rise?
not worried. I'm actually kind of like okay with the idea of laying low
Yeah.
until it's finished. Because once it's finished, I kind of plan on having one big like, okay, here's the final update. It's 1.0. I'm gonna have like all the content, all the like, nice just polish, all the story elements added in one foul swoop. And like that's when I'm gonna really push it and advertising and stuff, really promote it, because I kind of want people. Baldi's Basics is kind of this reputation of being like, oh, it's a funny meme game. I kind of hope that like when it's finished and Baldi's Basics Plus is finished, I can change that perspective a little bit and get people to be like, oh, this is actually just a cool,
This is good
stealth
game. Yeah.
roguelite. It's a fun game with
Yeah.
some like Mascot horror elements, some just like funny stuff in it,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try pushing.
How exciting. Maybe
yeah.
you'll be the next one that gets, like, Baldi made into a movie.
Oh no, that's never happened.
They'll have Matthew Lillard.
I have had an email from a director before, like a real director.
Really?
Was like, I think I ghosted her because I was like didn't know how to nicely say no. I will never make a Baldi's Basics movie.
No,
Is that
not
definitive?
even
Yes.
just to like see.
There
how
is
it would
no
go.
way to turn Baldi into a movie. Like that was in talks with someone once to make like some sort of like series, maybe something animated, but like the guy's vision was just super like basic, like, oh, it's just Baldi doing stuff in the schoolhouse. And my vision was like, oh, I want it to be like a mockumentary about the people making the game. And like both of us really had no idea what to do, and we just kind of like had something weird, trying to maybe make it work.
Yeah.
Eventually I just stopped hearing from him.
That's fair.
I don't think it would work as a like animated series or a
That's
film.
fair.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being in an animated series. Like, what would be the plot?
Right.
It would be like, like
Baldi
what's it
isn't a good character. No offense, but he's not a good character for telling like serious stories.
Would you ever
Anything like
release
that.
more merch with the upcoming game, or do you have plans for that?
I don't have plans, but I would like to release more merch. Yeah, I do have a like spring store, so I got stuff
Oh.
on there. So yeah, I would definitely put some new stuff on there with the release.
Do you still have the original drawings of him?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Can we see them
Yeah.
after this?
I could literally go grab
Yeah?
sure,
Can
yeah.
we see?
All right.
Guys,
And, like,
before this
back 'em up.
podcast comes out, Bruce will put a picture up.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
one
at
of
least
them.
one.
Maybe I'll
Right
find
here.
something that I haven't shared before and give you guys like
Exclusives.
We'll,
like the,
we'll copy the art and make that the thumbnail.
yeah.
Draw Baldi's basic versions of our characters.
Yeah.
I wonder how they would look.
Make
We got
them
the
as
square
like
head.
insane as possible.
Yeah.
So did you learn 3D like modeling in order to make this your
Yeah,
game?
so a lot of Baldi's basics was literally me being like, I can do this because it's supposed to be terrible.
Yeah. You
So
gotta get away with
like
it.
my only experience making 3D models before was like I made this one model of a character named Joe, and like I was kind of okay, I kind of know how to make 3D models now. And then years later, I was like, oh, I need a 3D model for Baldi, so I'll throw that together with some spheres and some cylinders, and you know,
And now look where it is.
It's so
in
iconic.
flesh form.
it's so weird. I have this little, got to sweep the broom.
Yeah.
I have a like little figure I've got to sweep on my desk, and every time I look at that, I'm just like, how did I like accidentally trick a toy company to making a figure of a broom? It's just a broom, and they made toys of it. And it's like that. That's
the biggest
so
troll.
weird. They didn't even
cool,
need to do it, but I kind of feel bad like now. Like
Why?
so
Everyone-
weird.
they loved it.
apparently, yeah,
They made
people
money
like
off of
it.
it.
It is a nice, like decently made broom figure.
Yeah.
So.
It's cool though. I would give up like any opportunity, like no matter what, just to like have like merchandise made of your own like creation. I
So
mean,
would
Yeah,
I.
it certainly is a fun experience.
I released plushes recently for the little mouse character in my pilot.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
And I had a couple of people saying like, "Well, why would you release it if it's not even out yet?" And I'm like, "I wanted one, like I just wanted one myself." So
You did.
yeah.
So you're like, I want one like in the background with little mouse
Nice.
characters
Yeah.
on the shelf. We gotta put that in the office.
I think
Yeah,
I
we did.
saw that on one of your podcasts a while back.
Yeah.
Had it in the
Yeah.
background, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Brian Griffin attached
Yeah,
to
the
the
Brian
hedge.
Griffin and the Helga,
Yeah.
and like our makeshift plushes.
I feel so bad for whatever like big guests we eventually get that have to come in and like walk through our dog hair covered house and like.
Or having a dog.
Yeah,
Well, unless you have,
3
like,
dogs.
my parents have a Shishan, which is like a Bichon Shih Tzu mix.
Ooh.
It doesn't shed, it like doesn't
It's
smell.
hypoallergenic.
Yeah, it was literally the only way to get a dog because my dad was like really against it. But then my
Aw.
mom was like, here's a dog that doesn't do any of the stuff you don't like, and finally convinced me to.
Dude, I got all 3 troublemakers. I got a white German Shepherd, a Beagle mix, and a little Chihuahua.
Oh.
The little
Yeah,
Chihuahua
I've seen
loves
I've
Mark.
seen the Chihuahua.
Dude, he loves
cool.
Mark. He's like, that growth that grows off of Elmer and Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, the little growth that goes off Peter Griffin's neck and Family Guys.
Yeah, that's Wench and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a lot
Ah.
of growth on you.
Would you ever at some point like to expand outside of Baldi?
Yeah, once. So, I've had plenty of people tell me, oh, do like release in chapters, like make, do a bunch of games. And I'm just kind of like, no, like this game, I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be one big, like cool game.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. Once Plus is finished, I'll definitely be moving on to something else. That'll be like, that's it, like
That's
I
fair.
hope that this game gives the fandom many years of entertainment.
Yeah, satisfies.
But like I have to move on to something else because I got lots of other ideas for.
Oh, you have
totally
other
different
ideas?
things.
Can you
Yeah.
say?
Well, I think one that goes without saying is like I want to make a pinball game at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But I do have other ideas that are kind of like top secret now because like if I tell someone and then I don't end up making it.
Someone
then
will take your
I'll
idea.
have fans. No, not that. I'll have fans being like, "Hey, where's the game that you said you would make like 10 years ago?" And it's
Yeah.
like it would never end.
That's fair. That's fair.
Did Baldi ever get a release on like console?
No, I plan on doing console release for Plus,
Nice.
but like since I've always kept Classic and Classic Remastered free, it's just never been worth like, the effort.
You never
to-
capitalized that's pretty
My-
pretty admirable. I would have.
My mindset has always been if people are paying for something, I want it to be something worth paying for.
That's fair.
So I've always been like Classic and Classic Remastered, these are free games, but I always try pointing people to Plus and being like, hey, if you want a bigger experience, buy Plus, or like wait till it's finished and buy it then if you want like the full experience all in one
That
go.
is very like respectable.
And then
of you.
it's merch. I've had people ask me like, "Hey, can you like add like pay what you want on like itch? Like, how can I give you money?" And I'm just like, "Thank you." Like, but like you can buy the game, you can gift the game, you can buy merch. You
Yeah.
know, like
Did you hear that, guys?
Yeah, buy my
buy
merch.
Plus and buy Baldi merch. Look, this could be you, but not frowning because you have his merch.
Yeah.
That's you when you don't buy Baldi.
That's you
This
when
is
you
Baldi
don't
when you
buy-
don't buy his merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good marketing campaign. All kids are scared
Baldi
of
will
Baldi.
come for you if you
That
don't buy
is
his merch.
insane. Okay, this is like my second time talking about it. But you seen Nathan? Have you seen Nathan For You? Have you seen that show?
I'm not sure. I don't think I have.
Okay, it's on HBO Max. But
The doink.
yeah, the Doink It is there. He made this fake commercial for this toy company, and it's essentially this really lame rubber ball that doesn't bounce when you. It's lame, right? And this guy wants to sell it. So Nathan Fielder's like, we're gonna make a commercial, and the whole gimmick is if you don't have a Doink It, you're a baby. So don't be a baby and buy a Doink It.
So like gets a bunch of kids in like a focus test room.
Yeah.
He's like,
Like, well, I have a Doink It, so I'm not a baby, and anyone who doesn't have it is a baby.
and then all the kids grab it and they're like, well, what do you think about people who don't have doinkets on? Like, they're babies.
They're like,
They
they're like, I
work.
feel sad for them. They're babies. If you don't have Baldi's Basics Plus, you're gonna be like Baldi. You'll be upset. You'll be a baby. He's so
Yeah,
cute.
Baby Baldi, and maybe that one April Fool's joke.
Really?
That just made. I was like, didn't have anything planned. It's like, I'll just make Baby Baldi, and then someone replied like, "Is this real?" I was like, "No."
What is it? Was that like
If this was
around
real,
the,
then I would be dead, and someone took over and started doing whatever they could.
was that when like the
Baldi's baby.
baby trend was a big
Yeah.
thing? Like the
Yeah.
Yoda, baby peanut.
Peanut.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, really quick?
I think that's the lamest
It
thing
is
in the
lame.
world. Baby nut.
That has been around for years, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Looney Tunes babies.
Yes.
Tom and Jerry kids. Scooby Doo. Pup named Scooby
Pup
Doo.
named Scooby Doo.
It like kind of like came back for a couple of years.
It did, yeah.
For some
Tom and
reason.
Tom and Jerry kids.
They do that in all the movies now. They did like Scooby.
Oh yeah, this
starts
Baby
with, like,
Groot. and
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah.
yeah. Like,
Baby Yoda.
Baby Grogu.
All these movies, what characters now it starts with them as a baby, like Baby Sonic and the Sonic.
oh yeah, Baby
movies.
Garfield.
Yeah.
That's yeah, it's coming up.
What is
Baby
that?
Mario and Baby Luigi.
That is yeah. What? I don't understand.
No, they already exist.
But
Yeah.
is that for the babies or is that for the baby adults to be like, oh?
Yes.
Both?
Marketing.
No, I think it's for
Everyone
the
wants
baby
the baby
adults?
version.
Yeah.
The plushie of the baby version.
True.
It's like cheap.
There will be no Baby Baldi plushies anytime
Yeah.
soon.
No, but baby Baldi plushies. Genuinely though, say Baldi Plus, because I have a feeling Baldi Plus is gonna blow up. Everyone's gonna be really excited about it.
So
So Walmart, Target, boom, we want to deal with you, Baldi. and-
Baldi kitchen appliances.
Yes.
Baldi play it.
Baldi
that might be a
toaster.
bit far. Although I do remember, back when I used to like daydream about my games and stuff, and be like, I used to think, like if Baldi's Basics were ever like take off, like I'd like milk the heck out of that game because I don't care. It's just such a goofy character.
Yeah.
So maybe if the opportunity arose to get like merch and
Why
stuff,
not?
back
You should
in
make.
stores, yeah.
You should make.
As long I do want to make sure like it's decent, decent quality.
You should just take a regular broom and put a Baldi's Basics tag on
Like a
it
sticker?
and sell it for double the price.
Okay, so the original Goddess Sweep was literally just a picture of a Libman precision angle broom.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh yeah, here's a broom. And then when the game blew up, I got a Twitter DM from Libman, their
Really?
Twitter account. And they were like, hey, like, you want to do like a giveaway? Because, we saw your broom.
Giveaway a broom.
Libman's- But, me being new to this, I was like absolutely terrified of like copyright infringement and stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of being like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, I was like, oh no, like I infringed on their like trademark design. So I like panicked and never responded to them and just like changed the design and got a sweep. I just replaced the bristles with like some black bristles, just some like plain just plain design. It's like, oh thank goodness. Like
Dodge that.
that company I was very clearly like happy to work with me. Like they're not
Very
sue me
attention,
anymore.
yeah.
Oh man.
You should have
When you
messaged
come
them
back
back.
around, come back around.
After all
like,
these years.
hey.
You should sell separate DLC that replaces it with that specific broom again.
Yeah, if you want the original design back, you gotta buy the Libman
awesome
Precision Angle
design,
Pro
guys.
DLC.
You can make it like 1 in every 0.000000001% can get that broom.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite kind of thing.
And then out of spite, they
Putting-
come back and sue you.
Yeah. Putting stupidly rare like things that just kind of really happen in my games. It's like my favorite
That's
like
what
dumb gimmick.
That's what I would do if I ever was like a game developer. Shout out to Euthanasia.
There is a game I made for that petite computer. Get ready, Baldi's biggest fan. You have some new secrets to find. And there's like a 1 in a million chance of every time you die, something weird happening.
Really?
But like, I don't think anyone's ever found it. Of course, now that I'm mentioning
now
it,
that
like you
it's
got
someone
you all
Go
have
in the
something
game and
new to
just
find.
spam deaths over and over again.
So
until you
everybody
find it.
play it.
Pro tip: you can change the code in every petite computer game, so you can literally just hack it to make it happen every time.
Oh, really? Smiles. Let's see it, guys. Put it in the comments.
I can't wait to find that. See
you
what's
guys
added to
find
the
it, yeah.
iceberg.
Yeah. Tell us what you found in the comments.
Yeah.
The iceberg.
The Baldi's
Yeah.
Basics iceberg. I found stuff on that where I was like, wait, how did they even find that?
Yeah, what would be an example?
One of them was like an old Scratch project I had made for like a school like several years prior.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
How
what?
did they find that?
They searched my username on Scratch. And I was like, oh, it's still it's public.
You
I
can
think
do
Scratch
that.
is public, isn't it? I never used Scratch.
I used it in school, but like it was like our school email.
Yeah,
you know?
if you didn't like make it private, then it's like if someone knows like what your Scratch username was, they can just search for it.
That is kind of like that's psychotic. That's kind of crazy. I'm gonna find your Scratch username.
I don't think I have one.
I'm gonna find your game.
You're gonna find all my Sonic Fan games.
Yeah. Did you want to make Sonic fan games?
I made in high school we did a game maker for a course, and I just ripped Scott Pilgrim like model assets or like sprite assets, and I took like Labyrinth Zone and like Marble Zone from Sonic 1. And I just had Scott Pilgrim running around like, and there was like no moving screen or anything. It was just like one block and just moving downwards, and then to the goal. And that was it.
Sound like one of your first times making a game?
That was my only time making.
Oh,
a
well,
game.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
You gotta
except
start with something.
for our upcoming game guys.
Euthanasia.
Our upcoming.
Oh yes,
Our-
I saw that podcast. Yeah.
What did you think? Did that bother you being a game developer?
I
hearing
was
that?
like, there's some good ideas here. I like the
like the one-
brass
the-
knuckles as like a little secret thing you can do. I don't like that as the main like mechanic.
Jeez, and me.
I got too excited. Oh,
Well, okay. What idea as a game developer did you listen to, and you're like, no, that wouldn't work?
I think I kind of mentioned this earlier, but so a while back I had the opportunity to talk with MatPat. And we talked a little bit, and he left me with two pieces of advice. One was to like release the game in chapters, and I was like, thanks, but no. You know,
Yeah.
that's a roguelite game. You know, doesn't really work.
That's like
This
the
is-
advice for marketing's sake, not for
Yes,
like,
yes.
like game sake.
This is supposed to be a game that's like replayable. You know, it's just one cool experience. The other advice he left me was like, you have fans who are like searching for secrets and stuff, and they kind of like they deserve to find something. And I was kind of like, because at the time I was like, nope, no lore, no story, no nothing. This is just a goofy, funny parody game.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, okay, I mean, if I think of a good story I want to tell, then maybe I'll do that. And so eventually, I did think of a story. So there is like some lore stuff I'm gonna have, but it's not gonna be your traditional lore. It's not gonna be like Baldi like steals the souls of the students, to bring his like
Puts them in the
deceased
ruler.
wife back to
Yeah.
life or something like that. It's gonna be a bit more grounded. So I hope people like it, whatever it.
I think they will.
Yeah, I remember. Because I put a tweet out earlier asking if anyone had any questions. A lot of people were like, "What about like this question? Or like the lore? Like what is this part of the story?" And I'm like, "What? There's a story? What?"
Okay, so to clarify, Classic Remastered has like a story to it.
Yeah.
But it's this kind of like ridiculous, like not canon to plus story that I
okay.
just like. There's a story there. I did base events around an idea of like what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like funny and ridiculous over
Yeah.
the tops. Also, more secrets. There's like unfound like secret messages in Baldi's Basics Classic Remastered. So get on that.
Ooh, you hear that?
At least I
don't
think they're
find it.
unfound. I haven't found any them documented anywhere.
You hear that, guys?
You
Uncharted
got y'all have
territories.
some digging to do.
Yeah. One thing, one little piece of like lore or one little thing that you know that you're like,
Okay.
it has to be in there. It has to be in Baldi's Plus.
That
That you can say.
that
I
would be
can
spoiling.
That
say.
you can say.
Hmm.
I suppose for something for them to look forward to.
Yeah. I will say this. I've made it very clear that Classic Remastered is entirely separate from Plus when Plus will be finished. It's going to be its own separate story. And currently, it's not like there's a connection now either. The early access isn't like canon to Classic Remastered. It's totally just there is no story in the early access versions.
Yeah.
But I will say there may be some ideas that you see in Classic Remastered that are more fleshed out in Baldi's Basics Plus when it's finished. So like Classic Remastered is kind of me experimenting with those ideas I have, and then Plus will be me like fleshing those out and figuring out like what I really liked and making the most of those aspects.
That'll be cool to see.
Ooh, now I'm just excited. Now I'm gonna tell everybody else. I want to see it.
Hopefully it doesn't take me too long. I'm like really, because I'm really excited to finish it. I really want people to see what, because I am holding a lot of stuff back for the final release. The early access is going to be, here's 0.4. There's like a couple new characters maybe, or some new level elements. 0.5 is some more of that. When 1.0 releases, that's going to be me like dumping like a whole nother like level of stuff at the game to really make it feel like a finished full experience.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, I imagine no matter how long it takes, as long as it's like a good, satisfying game, like you said, a lot of replayability, people will like flock to it no matter what.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and a lot of new fans who didn't weren't around when the original game was blowing up, will find it and discover it.
Definitely.
Here's hoping.
Where's is it coming out on like Steam or?
Currently it's available on Steam, Itch, and Game Jolt, and you can if you want to, if like you're already a fan and you want to check it out as it develops and give feedback, you can buy it now, or you could just like wish list it and keep an eye on it and wait for it to be finished.
Let's hear that, fellas.
How's the
Buy it
reception
now.
been so far?
So far, it's been good. I think it has like an overall like overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Nice.
So even now, it's weird for me because I look at this and I see like this unfinished game, and I know what the final game is going to look like in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's like still
So
like
far
so
from
far
what I
away.
imagine,
But people
yeah.
are still really enjoying it, and that's really encouraging. Even
nice.
in this bare bones state, like people still have a lot of fun with it. So
That's great.
Aw, that's so great to hear.
I'm very thankful for all the positive and constructive feedback I received from like all y'all. So.
Speaking of, I'll look at some questions.
Sure.
I feel bad that
We always,
we always ask
say
the
we're gonna
questions
ask
and never
questions.
answer the RS.
We never get around to like taking our phones out and actually asking them.
Yeah, because there's so much to like sift through. This is from Evan, and this says, what was the most surprising thing about the reception of the game?
I would say just how like big it got. Like, I thought maybe there'd be some people who'd find it and like it, and I could have like a little base of people who are like, oh, I like this, and it's like, oh, that could be like, hey, cool, like maybe I'll make more of this someday. But no, it just like got so big, like I just never imagined anything like that would happen.
It's really cool though. It's cool that you just
A huge it's cool for me because like I always wanted to be like a game developer, so I like suddenly have this huge opportunity, just kind of just a huge blessing to have this opportunity that I went for, and so far it's working out. And
closed mouths never get fed is what they say.
This is a question from Chip Chap, and this says, how do you feel about Baldi being lumped in with the rest of the indie horror scene, FNAF, Bandy, etc.? I always felt it personally did its own thing, and it didn't deserve that fate, but I'd love to know your thoughts.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting question. So I definitely feel like it does fall into the category of mascot horror, but lately I've been trying to shift it more towards like promoting it as like a stealth roguelite game with like mascot horror elements, because I do feel like a lot of people lump it into those games, and it's just kind of like, oh, it's just another one of those games. He just made a game, because it was the popular trend or whatever. And I'm like, this is a game that I have a lot of passion for, and I'm putting gameplay first, which is something a lot of those other games are more focused on the story elements.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something where it's gameplay first, and there's some scary stuff, but it's also meant to be just kind of funny once the scare factor wears off. So I do feel like when people say like, oh, I hate these, mascot horror games like, Bendy and Baldi and FNAF, and it's like, well, I feel like I have something a little bit different here going on here.
Truthfully, I never considered Baldi to be like a mascot horror game. Like I never really associated that.
It's funny you say that because the term mascot horror, from my understanding, was coined by John Wolfe, the YouTuber, and he coined it like talking about Baldi's basics.
John Wolfe sounds familiar, or what?
He just does like a lot of horror games and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of like game commentary almost.
Okay.
But I never, that's the thing about it, I never associated Baldi with that. Like when I think of mascot horror, I think of like Bendy, Slender Man.
You think
and,
of like an actual
FNAF.
like mascot meets
Like
for
an-
something.
No.
I mean, like Freddy Fazbear
I know
has their
what you
mascot,
mean.
Bandy has their mascot.
But like when I think of mascot horror, I think of like an actual like thing that is intended to be scary. Baldi does not come off to me as intended to be scary.
Right, Baldi's basics is more scary through like the gameplay.
Yes.
And
like the
through
stress of something.
just
like
the
that.
weirdness of the game. Not like Baldi himself isn't ever gonna be like, oh, I got big teeth all of a sudden, and
Yes,
like now
exactly.
I'm like got blood shooting out of my eyes.
I love that we always just come back to talking about mascot horror.
I
It's
know.
so-
It's
it's such
like
a
4
common-
episodes in a row we've been talking about mascot horror. It's always on our mind. Baldi never.
That's interesting because I do feel most people bump it in there, which is kind of fair, but also again I feel like there's a lot of people who immediately discount it because they see, oh, I don't like Bindi and I don't like FNAF, so I won't like Baldi's Basics. But
they don't even know.
Yeah, if you like Spelunky, or if you like something, like that, maybe you will find something to like here, even if you're not into the other.
I would say
games.
Playing the game itself is like so much more fun than just like looking at somebody else playing it. Like when you are the one running away.
Yeah, because it's a very gameplay focused game.
Yeah.
It's certainly fun to watch people play it.
Yeah.
See, react to it.
Like I like seeing people get scared only because it's so high intensity.
We'll do 2 more questions.
Okay.
This is from Cheezer. What were some scrapped ideas for Baldi's Basics Plus?
That's an interesting question because I'm not quite finished with Plus yet.
Yeah. Was there anything that you kind of like had ideas for at first that you were like already were like, can't do it?
I'll say, like one that people ask me for a lot is like a level editor, but it's like, maybe I'll do that after it's finished, but that's just like outside the scope of the game right now. Yeah. One thing I'll say is when I first did the Kickstarter, I was like, oh, there'll be field trip mini games, and you can like go on field trips and play mini games. And the first iteration of those were like awful, just truly awful. There's one where you like were outside in a forest and there was a campfire and you just had to walk around and pick up sticks, like put them back on the fire. And like, I initially made that because I needed some way to promote the Kickstarter. And I knew like, oh, if I make like a demo thing, then like YouTubers will play it and like that'll get me some attention. What I forgot to do was make sure that was fun. So, but I kind of just kept rolling with that going into the first release, and then I realized like this is awful. There's no fun here.
It's good you had that realization early on.
Yeah.
So I revamped the field trip mini games, and they're still not very good. So I've had like really sat down a while back and like really figured out like what I need to do to make them fun, and so I'll be like revamping them again some point in the future, and all the old versions will be like scrapped content.
Okay, last question.
All right.
And this is from many people, actually. I've seen many comments, and I don't know if it's a joke or if it's real, but I see a lot of comments about a DS or a 3DS port asking when it will be released. Is that like a running joke or something?
I don't know. I'm assuming that's maybe in reference to how, so there's Petit Computer on the DSi, and then there's the sequel, which is called Smile Basic on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And I originally wanted to make Baldi's Basics for that because somebody had made a raycasting 3D engine, which kind of looks like Wolfenstein 3D.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
And at one point, I was like, back in like 2015, I was like, I'm going to make this Baldi's Basics game for a Smile Basic. And so I took this engine and I replaced one texture with white brick walls because that's always been like, oh, it's got to have white brick walls as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was it. I did that in like one voice recording for the game. And it's like, I never did any more than that on the 3DS.
So it's coming soon, you're saying?
Yes, very soon. Baldi's Basic Smile Basic Edition. Actually, that's funny. I just realized that. Smile Basic and Baldi's Basics. They both have the basics.
Unintentionally, yeah.
Would you ever like make like fun little ports like maybe PS2 or something?
Probably not. Like
That's
I said,
fair.
as much as I love working on Baldi's Basics, I'm
not
like
what you want.
also very much ready to work on something else.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point now. I was pretty good about it for a while, where I was like not having ideas that like, oh, I have to work on this. But no, I'm like trying to figure out how to like work on a side project in my spare time while working on this, and it's hard because you sit at a computer 8 hours a day, and you don't really want to keep sitting at the computer like to work on something else.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, lots of other projects.
Then
I'm
you're,
like ready and raring to
Mental
work on.
energy goes to this, and you want to like expel more to something else. Yeah. I know that feeling.
I wish you luck in the future.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait for Baldi's Basics Plus to continue to get.
Yeah, I'll
ideas.
definitely send you guys some like download codes so you can. But I do recommend like waiting, since you're not already like into Baldi's Basics, just like waiting for it to be finished.
Sure.
So you can get like the full experience all at once.
We'll do it in our computer, in our living room with a
Yeah.
big 75-inch TV with the dogs all around us. No get scared.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be interested in hearing your thoughts once it's finished.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the dogs. They love horror.
I just watched your Bindi video from yesterday.
Oh,
and I was
really?
like, that's really interesting.
Different opinions from.
I don't play a lot of Mascot horror games, but like I definitely enjoy listening to videos about them.
Me
and seeing
too.
What people like and don't like, because that helps me.
I love listening to like different like Go Motion and like what's the other one? Stuff like that. I like listening to like Mascot horror game like channels, but I rarely play them. So the Bendy video is interesting because the reception from like most people is like, this really like I like this video a lot and I'm happy about that. But then some Bendy fans get like, it's never a good sign when I'm like announcing that I'm going to be uploading a video and I have like people with Bendy profile pictures being like, guys, before this is uploaded, please go easy on him. Go easy on him, please.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I getting into?
Baldi Basics fans, if he ever uploads like a video about Baldi's basics and it's kind of critical, like that's good. I want the criticism. I want the constructive criticism because that helps me make a better game. So be nice.
Dude, it's so respectable.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother me, like, but it's just weird because I see people.
Yeah.
I saw someone being like, and it's the like epitome of like this, like that fandom culture where it's like I get it because it's not nice having like something you like being on, but it's I would see people being like I was getting ready to type like a bunch of paragraphs, like an essay about everything wrong with this video, but by the end of it, he said that he liked the latest Baldi game, so I'm not going to do that. And it's like, that's all you wanted.
That's all you wanted.
Me to say it was good.
Yeah, they
I appreciate you letting us come to your home and film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So much. I genuinely appreciate it.
And then
Very random. You just let us into your,
I mean, I assumed that was just like the standard, procedure. Like,
Well, we don't know.
We let them come. You should come over to our house sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a free place to stay.
Where are y'all
LA.
again?
Burbank.
Burbank.
where's that?
In
California.
LA.
Oh, okay, I was hoping
California.
you'd say Ireland because I've been wanting to go there.
We got a
have a
house
house built there soon.
being built
Okay.
now in Dry Knot,
So,
so
there's
if you want
4
to come
bedrooms.
over,
Yeah, I might be like, the game name McGonagall is like Irish.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it might. We're not sure if it's like part of the actual bloodline, where the name came from, but it's always kind of been like, oh, it'd be cool to go,
You and
Ireland.
Mark
or
look like you'd be related.
Oh, really?
You guys both have the Irish eyebrows.
Yeah.
We do.
You do. You
Oh,
both have
maybe-
the same
maybe-
eyebrows.
Maybe we are. I do have Irish
Related.
blood.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, come on over sometime
Yeah,
when the
you
house
should
is
come.
built.
You should come by.
Yeah, if I ever go to Ireland,
Or
I should
LA.
get a message. Yeah.
You're always welcome.
But
If you don't mind 3 dogs.
guys,
Oh, not at all.
thanks for watching the podcast. Next
Thank you
up,
very much.
guys, we're in about 2 hours. We're heading over to Nathaniel B's house. So get ready.
So, guys, we're going to see Nathaniel B. Ain't you Nathaniel B?
Nathaniel Bandy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Awesome.
well,
Thank you so much
Thanks for
again.
watching.
And everybody, please subscribe to the podcast, but also buy Baldi's Plus.
Yeah.
Buy
Or
it
wait
now.
for it to be finished
Or wait for it
because,
to be
like, figure that out. Figure out what
wish
you wanna
list
do.
it on Steam.
Wish list on
Or
Steam
just
at the
buy
very
it,
least.
Because it's going to be good and you know it.